All right, welcome back to another week of County 71. Today we have Katelyn. Introduce yourself, Katelyn. Tell us about yourself.
My name is Katelyn.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know.
Where are you from?
Oh, there we go. Okay. I was born in Ohio, but raised in New Hampshire, and now I'm back in Ohio with all of you people. And I'm obsessed with bow hunting, like everybody here.
Matt shoots them with rifles, so you can't say that he's on the same page with us.
No, I didn't. A couple years ago I did. It's not your business.
How did that work out for you?
What?
A couple years ago.
You mounted it.
Damn. That's a book.
Let's talk about Kate.
Oh, good idea.
It's not about me.
Yeah. We'll save that one for another day.
Talk about her season and style. The saddles. The artwork.
Okay, well, do you want to talk about this year, like how I got my buck, like what got me started, what was different this year than like all my previous years in hunting?
Yeah. Was you successful versus them, or did you have success before?
Well, yeah, like, so I guess we'll just start, like, what got me started into hunting was, like, I grew up hunting with my dad, and we mostly just, like, gun hunted, but I taught myself how to use a bow 3 years ago, and I pretty much have not picked up a gun since.
Compound or crossbow?
Well, okay, back up a little further then. I picked up a crossbow 6 years ago to start myself into the archery journey, because I'm completely self-taught in archery. So since I gun hunted my whole life, I didn't really know where to start. So I figured a crossbow wasn't that much of a jump, but at least it would teach me like yardage and stuff. So started with that, was successful with that for like 2 years in a row, and then switched over to a compound, and yeah, it was really difficult teaching myself how to use a bow.
Was there a particular bow that you started out with, the reason why you picked it?
I don't really think there's a particular reason why I picked it, because I did not go to a proper archery shop to purchase said bow, and I got a Diamond Edge 360, right? 320? 360.
320. Probably the SB1 Edge.
Diamond Edge, whatever. Yeah. It had like everything set up on it, and it was okay to start out with, but I just wasn't super like accurate with it. I mean, I was accurate enough. It was not a very easy bow, I suppose, to start off with. But it got the job done quite a few times.
Well,
so.
Accurate enough to what, wound them?
No, I mean, okay, so like I was shooting groups like this, you know, and then this year I got a Matthews, and then I started shooting groups like this. So huge difference.
It's impressive.
Yeah, like, I mean, I thought I sucked, and then, I mean, I'm not like the best, obviously, like I'm not amazing at it, but it was a huge confidence booster to switch over from a Diamond to a Matthews and realize that like the issues I was having was like technical issues. It wasn't like me, so that was helpful.
You think it was like the specific bow, or how the bow fit you? What do you think was the big transition to get that much better?
I think there was a lot of like little tweaks to it, and one of the main things was like, I think the rest, like I had a Whisker Biscuit before, and I don't know if it was just how the bow was set up and the mechanics of that specific bow, but the Matthews definitely shoots way smoother, fits me better. You guys all set it up for me, so.
And which Matthews are you shooting?
The one I got with this deer was the Matthews Prima.
Is that what you're currently shooting now as well?
No, I just traded my bow in and got the Matthews Image, which is the new one that came out this year. They look the same, but they shoot different. So
Same thing, only different.
Makes sense. Would you say that the Prima was smoother, or your Image?
The draw cycle is definitely takes a little getting used to, I think, for me, switching from one to the next. But this is only the third bow I've ever shot in my life, so I'm still learning. I don't really understand the differences between them. I think the draw cycle is different. I like the draw cycle a little better on the Image, I think. But I don't know. It's honestly like I'm definitely still learning when it comes to archery, and I need to pick up a lot of different bows and shoot them to understand what I like and don't like. And
I agree with that. I tell guys and girls all the time that if you haven't shot a ton of different bows, you're not going to know which one how you even compare them, because if you pick up one bow, even two bows, you're going to love both of them, but you shoot 50, then you're going to be like, wow, I really hate the first one I ever shot, because you don't even know what you're looking for.
yeah.
And 5 people shoot 5 different bows, and you all like a different one.
Right.
Unless you're one of the Matthews fanboys or something that's just like, give me the newest, baddest bow that's out. But
There's a reason.
yeah.
Well, call him over there. He's went back to Matthews a lot of times.
Yeah, that's why he's a saddle hunter now.
Hey, don't be knocking on the saddle hunters.
So, what's your...
Well, one thing before we switch, if you said you were self-taught on most stuff,
Yeah.
if you could give one piece of advice to a newcomer, what would you give them?
Sure. So I watched like an endless amount of YouTube videos. I'm like a huge supporter of you can teach yourself anything that you want, because there is an endless amount of information out there pretty much with any subject nowadays. Somebody's made a video on it. So that really helped me, but then also like definitely coming here to Buckeye Archery Supply, like go to your local archery shop and find people who want to take the time to show you, how to correct things, and having people be honest with me and tell me where I sucked helped the most. So that would be my advice.
Yeah, I'll do that anytime.
Yeah. I don't remember asking you.
I'll gladly tell you where you suck.
I don't remember you asking you.
Okay.
So, pretty much the whole reason that we invited you on here was we want to hear about everybody's hunts, and Matt really enjoys the story. He enjoys it more than watching a hunt. So, we are here to listen.
Well, this season specifically was my first season hunting on private land. I've been public my whole life. Never had my own private parcel to hunt. Never got the enjoyment of setting up trail cameras and watching specific deer. I always tried every year, but with public land, like, I don't know, somewhere towards the end of October, all the guys come in, and then the deer you've been watching disappear. So I would get really close every year to, like, having a buck picked out or having something ready to go, and then it would be ruined. But this year I got permission from one of my clients. Background, I do nails, so I asked like all the females, like, hey, can you hook me up with a piece of land or something? And one of my clients was like, I don't really have much land, but I have 3 acres of woods in my backyard. And I was like, I'll come check it out, because you never know. And I went and put up a trail camera there just to see. And the first night there was like 4 bucks on camera and like tons of does. And it's just like this tiny little 3-acre piece of woods, like behind a swing set. I was hunting like less than 100 yards for a swing set, maybe right at 100 yards, I don't know, but it was close. And the deer would just come up to the houses and just go through, and they didn't spend a lot of time there, but it was enough. They passed through there all the time. And I had a lot to learn this year as far as the differences on hunting private. Definitely preferable over public. It was nice not knowing that like my hunt wasn't going to get screwed up by other people or other factors, because as far as my knowledge went, all the neighbors just gun hunted. So I knew I had it until at least the first week of December all to myself. It was nice. So the buck I actually got, he was one that showed up the first night I put my trail camera out. And I watched him all through October. No bucks that were worth shooting daylighted until November 2nd. And I actually was supposed to go hunting on November 2nd. And I had a really big buck on camera at 9 a.m. And I decided to sleep in because I had a headache. And I pretty much kicked myself. Yeah. Oh, I imagine. I mean, then this is the first year I was using cell trail cameras too, which made a huge difference. And I got that text message, and I was laying in bed, and I got the text message, and I looked at it, and it's just like this huge buck on camera. Sorry, huge buck on camera right in front of me, and I was like, wow, I'm stupid. I could have been potentially tagged out, and I chose to sleep in instead. So then the next morning, my rear end was in that tree because I was like, well, they're starting the daylight now. And I was in my saddle, and for those that don't know, I saddle hunt and I self-film, and I have all these different cameras running, and I'm trying to create YouTube videos. And there was a doe that came in like right after first light. And I pulled out my phone and started taking a Snapchat of this doe because I was going to send it to my dad. I film deer all the time to send to my dad. And the caption on it was like, single doe, I want to shoot her, but it's during the rut, so I'm going to refrain from shooting her. And then a light bulb went off in my head, like, single doe. Wow, you're stupid. So I immediately like looked behind her, and I just see this rack coming towards the fence line that separated the property I was hunting on from just this huge thicket. And he came and crossed over the fence, and I knew I had right up until him crossing over the fence to turn all my cameras on. But once they cross the fence and come onto that small little 3-acre parcel, they're going to be able to see me where I'm at, because I was hunting like open hardwoods and there really wasn't any cover. Turned on all my cameras. He came in, and when I shot him, he was actually looking right at me because he saw me up in the tree, and I was waiting for him to put like his front leg forward, and he just kept holding it back. And I'm sitting up there like having my bow at full draw, like, please take a step forward, take a step forward. And I have it, the whole thing on film, and he kind of just like turns his head and looks up at me in the tree, and I was like, now or never. And I just tucked it right in as close to his shoulder as I possibly dared, and it was perfect. My arrow hit exactly where I was aiming. It ended up being a heart shot. I watched him run like 70, 80 yards, and then I watched him go down. It was awesome. The doe watched him go down too, because she had no idea what happened. She like took a couple hops and just stood there, and then she watched him fall. So that was kind of cool that I got everything on camera. And I think that was definitely like the most emotional hunt I've ever been able to experience, because not only did I get, I mean, the nicest buck I've ever been able to harvest, but I got the whole thing on film, 2 different camera angles, managed to film the entire story, and that's extremely difficult, and it took me 3 years of filming to finally be successful at killing a buck on camera. And I think I cried more up in the tree knowing that I got the kill shot than I did watching him go down that I killed him, because I promise you, shooting, like filming them is way harder than it adds a whole different element to it.
Especially by yourself.
Yeah.
I've tried multiple times, and I'm like, screw it, I'm not even turning the camera on. I'm going to kill this deer.
Yeah, it's horrible. And like, imagine too, like, I was really lucky that I was able to pull that off, because as soon as I watched him go down, I like took a second and looked around me, and I had 3 does coming in behind me, like. And then I turned my camera back on, gathered myself, turned around, and I start filming these does coming in to like finish telling my story, because my brain the whole time is like, okay, pull yourself together, get this YouTube video together. You know, like I can't have a complete mental breakdown up in the tree. Like I'm still filming, I have to catch this. So Yeah, and I mean, if they had come in, 2 minutes sooner, they probably would have seen me playing with the cameras, and then boom, it all would have been over.
Yep.
And, then I wouldn't have got the buck.
I think that's pretty normal though. Like a couple seconds could change an entire
Oh
hunt.
my gosh, I know.
Almost every time.
Yeah.
Try being big and fat up there.
Listen, this is why you need to try a saddle, because if I wasn't hunting out of a saddle, I would get busted all the time with turning on all my cameras, because you can hide behind a tree with a saddle. So I've even drawn my bow back with a deer looking at me before, just because I went behind the tree and like I sky drawed my bow back behind the tree so they couldn't see me, and like I went down and around the tree like this. But I ended up not taking the shot because I don't know, I didn't feel like it. But when I'm self-filming, I draw on a lot of deer, because practice makes perfect, and getting all your cameras turned on and drawing on a deer and knowing I could make it happen in this moment, and then letting it go and the deer never saw you. Like that's how I always hunt. I practice and practice and practice. It still took me 3 years to get it done, but it's very difficult.
Well, congratulations. Did you hunt any public this year as well, or did you just solely face private?
The only time I hunted public was in the beginning of the season, before the bucks started daylighting on this property. I didn't really hunt this property much because I didn't think there really was much point. Only does were coming through, so I was like, well, I'd rather play around on public and kill a doe and not care about ruining the area than on that property. But what I did learn about this property is, because it is right behind a swing set, unless the deer catch you up in the tree, there's not really much ruining the property, because the deer just come through so fast, and I think they're used to human scent being in the area. I mean, kids and stuff can come and play in the woods, and I hunted next to a teepee that kids built. There's a tree house back there, and I don't know. I just didn't think it was just very different. It didn't seem like the deer were phased at all coming in until the very end of the season, after a couple of does had busted me in the tree. That's really when they started being a little wary about coming in. But I did hunt public with my dad when he came up to visit during gun season, and we had a lot of fun with that, because there was this one spot I took him to, and he saw 14 does one morning. He was all excited about it, because he only hunts in New Hampshire, and he's lucky if he sees one doe in the entire season, and that really sucks for him. So he loves coming out here to hunt and visit with me, and for me to take him hunting, because he sees a lot, and that's exciting. So yeah, but no, I actually really didn't do much public land hunting at all this year, at all.
She's not talking about Ohio. There's no deer here.
There's a few here.
I actually didn't do much hunting this year at all, to be honest with you, because I was watching my cameras, and for me, tagging out on November 3rd, that's early for me.
Right.
And then once I was tagged out, I was like, oh, I have the rest of the season to shoot a doe and fill my freezer. So I just worked. So I really didn't hunt that much.
Prepped for the next season.
Yeah.
Was your dad successful when he came up?
He was successful, and I got all of that on film as well, so that'll be another YouTube video coming out. He was very excited about that. I also got all the camera angles for him getting a deer. It was fun. I've never, all the years hunting with him, we buddy hunted a whole lot growing up, and I've never seen him kill a deer. He's killed a deer when he's hunting 100 yards away from me. He's killed a deer tons of times, but never with me and him sitting next to each other. And that was really, really cool to experience that together and get it on film.
I've killed 4 doubles with a buddy side by side before.
Really?
It's fun to do.
Yeah,
to have
it's
somebody
just fun.
right there and see him do it and see the emotion is
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, and I think, going back to my house too afterwards and putting all the footage on my computer, and then having my dad watch the footage and rewatch everything, the joy on his face, seeing me and him get to experience that, because I had a GoPro set up that was showing both of us, and there was he was using a shotgun, and he had it on one of those little tripods that's like 2 legs. It doesn't stand up by itself. Bipods, whatever. I've never used one before. And the deer ended up walking to the right, and so he couldn't move his gun to the right. So he's like holding it with his hand, and the deer are all standing there, and some of them end up like looking at us because we're in a blind, and he's like holding there, like slightly panicking. He's like, I can't move. I can't use this thing. I can't use this thing. And then you just watch me like put my other camera in my hand, and I just reach over and like grab it for him, and I'm sitting there holding it for him. I'm holding my cell phone filming. I got 2 other cameras running. I'm just like this, and I'm like, okay, now you can shoot it. And he did. It was actually pretty funny. We laughed about it a lot later.
That sounds like a cluster.
It was. But it was an organized cluster. We made it happen.
Well, I'm sure everyone's going to want to watch it. Do you want to let them know what your YouTube handle is?
Yeah, it's Katelyn Armstrong. Just my name.
And if they search that, they will pull up a serial killer. So they want to be very specific.
Yeah, for those listening, there's more context to that. I did an interview with a UK news magazine, and they wrote this article about me, and the article they wrote was fine. The 6 other articles that were written from that article that plagiarized that article were not fine. And they were saying things like, oh, I killed 200 deer this season, or this year, and
sounds like a lot
that
of work.
I'm a serial deer killer. Yeah. I was like, wow, if I killed 200 deer this season, where's that content? Like, someone should sponsor me.
Yeah, they've never seen you shoot.
For real.
I don't think you've ever seen me shoot
So, yeah, I did. With that hinge release. And the bow you couldn't pull back.
That's not fair.
That's your best deer to date?
Yes, 140 inches.
Have you killed...
Wow, I was about to ask that.
He stole it from you.
Have you killed another buck with a bow before that?
Yeah, I killed a buck with my Diamond Edge. That was the first deer that I ever took with a bow. It ended up being a buck, and it was like November 24th, I believe. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. I know it was like the very end of the rut, and I was getting depressed. And I was also filming then too. But with that story, I'll try to keep it short and sweet. I was in a bad mood. I had a lone wolf climber tree stand on public land, and I had chosen to hunt behind a few houses. And I was in a bad mood that morning, didn't want to get up and hunt. I was like, I can't believe it. I had messed up a couple of times that season on deer, so I was just like not feeling it, but out there anyway. And because I was in a bad mood, I wasn't paying attention proper like I should have been. And this buck was hot on a doe. I didn't see the doe. She must have already come through, but he was panting, like drooling, nose to the ground, head up, like just going at it. And he came in so fast, it was all I could do to grab my bow, stand up, draw back, and stop him enough to shoot him. And I also watched him go down. Every deer I've shot with a bow, I've been lucky enough to watch go down and not have to track. So that one was really exciting for me. So after I shot him and watched him go down, I turned on all my cameras, called my dad, and then started filming from that point. Like, I did an interview, didn't get the kill shot, but then I got everything else.
Probably would have been a good idea to get the kill shot.
I was, it was the second year of filming, bad mood. Sometimes you just don't want to film, man. It's rough. Setting up my camera gear and everything, like, especially if you walk in late, or if it's raining, or if it's too windy, like, or it's too cold and your batteries are dying. Like, filming is an absolute nightmare, and if you're not obsessed with it, don't do it.
Yeah.
Because it's not worth it.
Just make excuses. So you was probably mesmerized by the fact that his nose was on the ground and his head was up. I want you to display that to me. No, I can't get there.
Well, okay, I might have missed the words and then his head was up.
Oh, that
nose was on the ground. Then his head was up and he's looking. Then his nose is back on the ground. There, can you follow now?
Yeah, but it's way cooler
Okay.
before.
I was about to say that's one long-nosed guy.
I mean,
He tossed his nose over his shoulder. So that deer was public.
That deer was public,
Should
yeah.
definitely
and
save a
he
little
had-
bit on that story in case we want to bring it back for another episode. Sounds like another podcast to
Yeah.
me.
Talented deer.
Do you happen to have it mounted? I'd like to see the size of that nose.
That deer, though, one thing I was really proud of for myself is I actually didn't call anybody for help, and I got him out of there all by myself, into my truck and everything, because I went and knocked on one of the people's houses on their door, because he died literally right on the line of their yard. And I went and knocked on this lady's door. She was super nice, old lady. And I went and knocked on her door, and I was like, hey, I was hunting behind your house, and I shot a deer. And he went down right behind your house, and I would really like not to drag him out like 200 yards to my vehicle. Would you mind if I drove right into your backyard and just loaded him up? Because I don't have anybody here to help. And she's like, oh, sure, honey, go ahead. So that's what I did. And it wasn't until like 3 months later that she came up to me, or no, she called me on the phone, and she told me, she's like, I just wanted to let you know that I was watching you through my window because part of me didn't believe you. And she's like, I was watching you through my window and you were not lying, and I was very impressed.
Did you get him up in the truck by yourself?
Yeah.
Nice.
Pretty impressive.
Oh, yeah.
I've had a couple whip my butt before.
Well, I mean, it was at the end of the rut, so he was, he had worked off like a lot of his weight, I think. He wasn't that big of a deer, but I sure dang was proud of him for being my first bow buck.
For sure.
Or first bow deer, actually. I was super excited about it. And with it being the end of the rut, I was like, I don't even care. Like, I'm shooting you. I thought, when I saw him for a second, I thought something was wrong with him. Like, something was wrong with his rack. He went like right underneath my tree stand, and I had all of that split second to decide if I was going to shoot him or not as I'm drawing my bow back. And he ended up breaking off like 2 of his biggest tines, so that was a bummer. But I was still happy about it.
So is he as good as him if he wasn't broke?
No, didn't have that mass at all. No. Yeah, definitely a smaller deer, but I was proud of him for my first archery kill.
Did you have help loading him up? Was people there for this harvest?
Yeah, oh yeah. One of my buddies came and helped me because the dragging him out was super miserable because you think, oh, it's behind a swing set, like it's not that far of a drag. Well, it is nothing but downhill from where I park. Their property is like 3 acres of lawn, and then it's 3 acres of hardwoods, and it's nothing but steep downhill. Like it's very, very steep.
I like to kill him on top of the hill.
So I had a buddy come help me, and then actually a guy that was working on the property, moving some stumps around, like a tree had been cut down, and he was moving like everything that had been, all the wood that had been cut down into a big pile with a tractor. And he drove right up to us and was like, you guys look like you need some help. It was awesome. He loaded my deer right up into his bucket and then drove it all the way into my truck and lifted it up and plopped it right into my the bed of my truck. And I was like filming the whole thing. I'm like, this is the coolest thing that's ever happened to me.
Yeah, I'm definitely not going to turn it down.
I know. Well, me and my buddy were complaining the whole time because apparently he had never dragged out a deer before. He had always gotten his 4-wheeler, and I kept calling him a spoiled brat the whole time because he was helping me drag out my deer. And I was like, wow, this is the first time. It's like, you're a real hunter now. You're dragging out a deer. But then the tractor came and saved us. I was very grateful.
That's part of my, I think my favorite part of the hunt, though, is that after part, if you can have people there to kind of celebrate.
Yeah, it was awesome.
All that emotion with.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Think we should take a little intermission here, Matt?
Sure.
A little breaky break.
Little break.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Sure.
Cool. Ugh.
Okay, Katelyn. We would like you to give us your best grunt call. Come on, bucks at 25 yards, going by quickly.
How are you stopping him?
Yep. Come on.
Meh. As quietly as possible. Meh. Just something to make him be like, what was that?
I think he didn't hear it. He's still running.
No, it's worked for me every time. You know, seen like the videos where guys are like, meh, and the deer's like, what the frick was that? When they're freaking out.
Yours is hooked in.
No,
Nope.
it's worked every time I've tried it.
You sure? Or did you forget to
Yeah.
record when you did it?
I didn't need to do it with this deer.
This recording? That recording? Everybody good? I'm like, hey dear, stop.
Okay.
No, but, huh?
Please hold Now. still for me right now. Now what else?
Oh yeah, woogie boogie.
Boogie, boogie. Madison, what about? She just walked straight up on them. They just freeze. Scared.
Here comes the
What, man?
song.
What do you think your biggest
Okay.
misconception people have of you?
Like, as a hunter.
In general, hunter, non-hunter, you're filming, everything.
Do you
Well,
mean because she's a
give me
girl
5
and she
seconds.
hunts?
No.
I probably get judged more because of that.
Probably some.
Probably a lot.
God's exiting the building. Don't worry about it. We're not
Cut that
doing a
part
podcast over here.
I know, right? We didn't just hear that. Anyways. Biggest misconception,
Wow.
I think. Are we going to cut that part out?
No, I'm leaving it. We are 100% going.
Okay. All right, I'll answer your question now. Biggest misconception, I think, is I get a lot of comments all the time, especially on my social media pages. Comments like, are you hunting or playing around with your phone?
Sounds legit.
Quit filming TikToks and how about you actually hunt? And
Do you feel like you filmed less TikToks this year and that might have been why you're more successful?
no, well,
Oh,
I-
some correlation.
most of the time I'm filming TikToks like either right as soon as I get up in my tree or right when I'm getting down. But honestly, like it doesn't
In the
matter.
dark?
No, I hunt in the morning
Oh, okay.
sometimes.
I was just clarifying.
Morning hunts, you get down at like.
You don't get in the dark? You said you do as soon as you get in the tree?
Yeah.
I said sometimes I get it when as soon as I get in my tree, which would be an evening hunt, and sometimes I do it when I leave my tree, which would be a morning hunt.
We're
Are we
just
following
clarifying.
now?
That way people understand it fully.
Okay.
You don't have to yell at me.
I felt a little hostile.
Yeah, I guess that's like the number one comment that I would get all as far as like misconceptions. And the truth is that I'm trying to create a business with filming my hunts and sharing my story and creating content that people find interesting, hopefully. And unfortunately, a part of that is risking being seen by deer. Like, I have to film. That's the thing I have to do. And I might as well do it while I'm out there. Like, I'm sitting up there for hours, and no, I'm not playing on my phone the whole time and doing TikToks. Like, I might do 1 or 2 TikToks that take me a couple seconds to make. I got all this camera gear to set up anyway. I make sure I get up in my tree plenty of time, to do the TikToks, which is mostly before the deer are even standing up to go feed in the evening. Like, they're all still bedded. I get up in my tree early enough to film before they even come out. So no, I'm not just up in the tree playing around on my phone, but I do have to do it for the business I'm trying to create. It's something that has to happen. So.
But why? Why are you doing it?
I feel like that's the question you just asked. What do you mean? What do you mean, why am I doing it? Well, doing what? Filming?
Yeah, why are you doing all
So
of it?
just-
What drives you?
Because it's trying to create a business. This is my dream to film
Oh, so you
hunts and share my story and create content that people find interesting and hopefully educate people along the way. Because another one of the misconceptions is people say I just do it for attention, and unfortunately having views on your page is a part of it. If I don't have the views, I'm not successful. So am I doing it for attention? No, but I do have to get the views, so I do have to have attention.
But you do like the views.
What?
Do you like do you like the views?
It is good the more views you have. Yes, that means you're being successful.
Oh, and
Yes.
they create attention?
Huh? You guys are.
No, but seriously,
Killing me.
You're never not going to have that. There's always going to be people that hate, and that's just anything. I've always
Yeah.
said in life that you're either hated or you hate. There's no other option. If you're hated, you're successful, and if not, you're hating on people.
Hey, I told you that one article, the UK, that was written about me that we talked about previously. That gained me a ton of followers, and it was very hateful.
Yeah, I'll take bad content if it grows things for me. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you know. Yeah, no, I don't. It's not like a doing it for the attention type of thing. I want to educate people, and you know, I want to open up the conversation for people who don't know a lot about hunting, or people who don't hunt, or think that, you know, we're just out there. How could you kill an innocent animal? Like, it's not about that. Hunting is not. It's like 99.9% not killing.
Except for this one that thought you was a kid in a swing and you took his life.
Yeah, that one. I don't know. He probably was trying to figure out what I was.
He's like, what's that, a saddle swing?
No, he had woman on his mind. He was following a lady.
Oh, he tasted
That's why
good,
he died.
So I'm glad
Yeah.
you did.
That's I don't recommend it. I would like to talk a little more about the small parcel now, because I do hunt a lot of small I can't say it. Small parcels.
Wow.
Myself.
How special. Try again. Say it 3 times fast.
I've killed multiple bucks on 5 acres that now has a house in the center of it. So I hunt about 2.5 acres of it. And I think a lot of what you said is very true. Mine is kind of open hardwoods. There's crops beside it and some bedding on a finger that kind of runs up by it. But I think the biggest success, if you can get them to come into that small area, is you rarely ever bump deer out of there. They don't bed in there. They don't hold in there. You just have to get them there when you're there. And that can be tough at times, but I've had a lot of success on the small stuff, like the 3 acres you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like you getting in and out. I mean, I'm not going to say I've never bumped deer there, but it's not like you're going through their bedroom to get into your stand or get out. And when I get out, they're usually out on the crops feeding at that time. So I can slip out the backside and never bump deer. I may see 30 deer and never have one within 100 yards there too. But when I get them there, if you can get them within a couple acres, they're in trouble.
Oh, I agree.
So I would take personally 10 small parcels over one large parcel if that's all I could hunt. I would rather have the different areas and pockets to hunt myself.
Ooh, can I ask you a question about that? What do you have any issues, or has it crossed your mind about making sure that the deer dies on your parcel? Because that's something that I really put a lot of time and effort into thinking about where I hunted, because I only had permission to hunt that 3 acres, which I hunted in the middle. So honestly, it was like 80 to 100 yards on either side, and then it was somebody else's property. So I was like, this deer has to die within eyesight.
I plead the fifth.
Okay, I was just saying, is that something that you worry about?
No.
I mean, you live there, so you probably like know your neighbors and stuff. But...
I don't, but thanks for assuming I live there.
okay.
But
Right.
yeah, I mean, I know you know most of everything, but obviously not everything. No, I don't really worry about it. I've always kind of figured that I'll figure things out after it happens. Like, my biggest concern is to get that deer killed if I can.
Yeah.
And what happens after that, I'll deal with that. You know, if I have to get a hold of somebody, I'll get a hold of them. A lot of them I've tried to talk to beforehand, and I've hunted this most of my life, so I've already dealt with them at some point, probably because the deers went there. So I just try to keep that close contact to where I can get a hold of them easy if I need to. And like you said earlier, a lot of people think everybody's against hunting and hate hunting. I've had pretty good luck, like you said, as far as people usually being helpful to help me even go get the deer after it's happened. You know, most people aren't going to be like, screw you. I mean,
I've experienced it.
There is a neighbor there that doesn't want me on their land, and they're that kind of person. But the other 90%, I mean, I've had them help me take the quad back there and go get the deer, you know.
That's nice.
But yeah, I guess I worry about that afterwards. I'll figure that out once I'm jacked up and got the deer killed.
Right, once you're successful.
Yeah.
Figure out the rest after.
But hey, if you keep watching them all die within 60 yards, you're good.
Yeah, I mean, I've been lucky, knock on wood somewhere. But yeah, I've never had to track a deer with bow hunting yet, so that,
yeah, I have.
Absolutely.
I'm just saying, like, a knock on wood somewhere, because
Right
I've
here
been
behind
very
you.
lucky.
There's some right here.
Okay.
You might want to.
And I don't even know
I'm very lucky.
I don't even know what completely drives that either, because I've tracked deer that's went a few hundred yards and walk up, and it's like I wouldn't change that shot by 3 inches.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Yeah.
But I've shot some deer too, or you'll see people shoot deer. You're like, man, that's a terrible shot, and the thing piles up in 60 yards.
Yeah. Can I say the only deer I've had to track was a crossbow kill, and it was perfect, double lung, 15-yard shot, absolutely perfect, and the deer went like 300 yards. I kid you not. And the only reason why I found it is because there was snow on the ground, and it was like 1 drop of blood here, 1 drop of blood there, and I was like panicking the whole time I was tracking because I felt horrible. And then I found the deer, and I'm like, how did you go this far? This makes 0 sense. Like, I don't even know why it didn't bleed, honestly. Like, huge hole on both sides. I really don't understand.
It was huge.
I shot a deer.
Like 2-inch hole on both sides. I don't understand how it wasn't bleeding. Didn't make no sense.
I shot a deer with a muzzleloader 2 years ago. I'll show you pictures later. There's not a drop of blood on either side of the deer, and it destroyed it inside. But it never bled 1 drop of blood. Luckily, it only went 60 yards when we see it on the edge of the field, but it never bled. And then last year, I shot the biggest buck of my life, a 190-inch deer, probably, with a 45-70, and tracked him for hundreds of yards. Hired a dog to track him, hired a helicopter to track him, and we never did find him, but that was with a 45-70. So I've shot them with everything. Some of them die right there by your feet, and some of them, unfortunately, don't.
Sometimes their will to live is great.
I put it up there with anything. The just tough, sheer will to live.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially, I think, when you get into a mature buck. Like, they're just unbelievably tough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Losing them is the worst feeling.
Yeah.
It is absolutely
Ever.
the worst.
And it always, to me anyways, it's happened in like spurts. Like, I'll lose 2 or 3, and then I'll go on a streak for like 10 deer, and everything's perfect as can be, and then it's like, all right,
We're back.
here's that feeling again.
Redemption.
On the biggest buck of your life.
Oh, I could not imagine.
Man, he's getting sick over there already.
Yeah, let me drink this.
You better.
I never drank until that buck.
How many inches was you think? Would you guess?
For sure north of 80. 80, 90 inch, 180, 90 inches, somewhere over there.
Okay.
It hurt.
I bet. I feel the pain for you.
It sucked.
He looks like he's in pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The memory. He's got PTSD.
It was rough.
Getting the flashbacks.
That's when I killed a buck with the gun that you're making fun of.
I don't make fun of any of them.
Oh, that's the same year that I killed that 8-point later that year.
Stud deer. I thought it was.
Yeah. I mean, it was nice to end the season that way, but still hurt to lose that deer.
I'm excited to hunt with you next year.
Just do it.
I don't think you will. You'll stand me up. You'll be like, oh, I'm busy in the blind with Cheyenne.
I mean, one can only stand you up so far.
He's giving you the death glare right now.
Wow, Matt. It's a huge advantage when you're hunting.
He's giving you a mean look.
I know. Well, hot.
I don't ever have to, like, when I stand up, it's like minimal movement.
We have trouble hiding you in the woods, let's just be honest.
I can hide anywhere.
Do the deer spot you all the time?
But I'm sure they do. Look at that tree.
I know. Do you have to find a tree that's like bigger than yourself?
You probably can't even get in one.
Yeah.
Do you hunt out of trees?
Probably not.
This isn't funny.
No, I'm trying to learn. I would like to be educated.
Not in saddles. Climbing trees on the ground, in the dirt, the creek, wherever.
So you don't hunt in trees, you hunt next to them.
Unfortunately,
trees.
Oh,
I think
tree
they've
stands.
cut down
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
all the big trees that could hold him.
Okay.
I've
We gotta
killed-
get you in a saddle.
The cons of
I've
logging.
killed most of them from a tree stand.
Yeah.
You sure?
This year's I killed from the ground.
Yeah,
They're blind up.
that sounds more like a legit story from you. Off the ground.
But most of them were in a stand. With a bow.
Built or a tree stand? Because I feel like Buddy, Hang On,
Huh?
Gorilla.
What?
Those big game ones.
No, there's actual Gorilla, the brand.
Oh, yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
a gorilla.
Yeah.
Big game, buddy.
I was gonna say big game, the muddy ones.
Yeah.
They're nice. They got like the mesh seats like these ones.
That's the only one.
You don't look like a
They're
millennium.
nice.
I can't sit in the metal barred ones no more. 3 herniated and a tore disc in my back don't last real long in a stiff stand like that.
I can't make fun of you. I'm strictly ground blind pretty much.
Yeah, but you're fit as a fiddle. I mean, groundhogs do climb.
I hung out of a saddle.
Keep sipping, Matt. Keep sipping.
Sometimes I hunt out of a tree stand. I have a couple of set tree stands on public land that are just really easy to get up into, and I've just left them up there for a few years.
I usually hunt out of a ladder stand or on the ground.
I feel like deer see me in a ladder stand.
That's why I kill them.
I mean,
The way they can't see me twice.
yeah. Maybe it's different on private land because since I've hunted with a ladder stand on public, maybe the deer are just too educated on public land.
Whatever makes you feel better.
I don't know. I'm just guessing.
I think they'll pick you out anywhere if they can skylight you, or it just depends.
Oh, for sure. Unless you're in a saddle.
I'm way more worried about wind.
She is
Than I am.
way too eager to talk about saddle hunting without us asking.
Just
So, tell us more about this saddle lifestyle.
Or
Convert Matt over.
why did I choose to start hunting from a saddle?
Yeah.
So why did you choose to start hunting from a saddle?
Well, with filming, being on public land, bringing in a ton of gear, saddle hunting is a lot lighter, quicker. You can pretty much climb any tree you want. You're not limited. I was using a climbing tree stand, and it was like 18 pounds, like just the tree stand. And that was rough on public land. And you can only climb trees with no branches, and it was just rough. I like to do the run and gun style hunting, where you just go in there and find the sign and then pick a tree. There's not a whole lot of prep work involved, and
And you weren't leaving a permanent stand when you was hunting public, right? So
Right.
you was packing in your stand.
packing
as part
in
of
and
your
out every single time. Climbing tree, taking everything out every single time. And, you know, it was difficult. I was exhausted, and filming out of the tree stand, filming from a tree stand, I think personally is much harder than filming from a saddle. I started watching like YouTube videos and watching guys who do the mobile hunting who are successful with filming, and a lot of them use saddles on public land specifically, and so I wanted to give it a go. And it's way easier to film out of a saddle because you've got the tree in front of you, and you could take your camera and put it on either side of the tree or flip it behind you, left, right. You can move it back and forth. If you're in a tree stand, your back is up against the tree, and you've got the camera on one side, and the camera can only go like this, and you can't get anything on your left side. If the deer come from your left, good luck getting it on film. Like, literally, good luck. Because then you're like this and trying to see your viewfinder, and it's too much movement. It's just a nightmare. But if you're not filming, though, for everybody who doesn't film, hunting out of a saddle, you can hide from the deer a lot better than you can in a tree stand, because the idea is to keep the tree between you and the deer. So if the deer is coming to the right, then you're stepping to the left to keep the tree between you guys. So you really, I rarely get busted out of a saddle, even if there's a whole bunch of deer around me. Like,
So you can go 360 degrees around the tree?
You can go all the way around one side and then come back and go all the way around the other side. So like once you pick a side to go around, you stay on that side.
But you keep your feet on a platform.
Yeah, yeah. You can lean around the tree. The other benefit is I am a much better shot with my bow out of a saddle than I'm a tree stand, because it keeps your movement smooth. Where out of a tree stand, the first thing I thought to myself was, don't step off my platform. Like when I'm going to draw my bow back, you know, like just moving around trying to get in the right spot, and you just have better archery form out of a saddle than you do a tree stand.
I don't know if I've ever shot a deer standing up in a tree stand. I think I've shot them all sitting.
But most guys do. Most guys stand up. Like,
But when I used to shoot 3D and stuff too, I would shoot from the benches sometimes just to practice
Yeah.
sitting down. But I just never liked standing up and shooting.
yeah, it's hard to stand up and shoot. I would have preferred to sit and shoot, but I think I could do it. And then when it got into the colder months, I had a harder time drawing my bow back sitting in a tree stand when it was cold.
And when you're bulky and got a lot of clothes.
Oh yeah. And then it was much harder to sit with the bulk and have the string not hit your jacket, and it was rough. And then filming on top of that, like it was a lot. But yeah, saddle hunting, easier to film, lighter, can climb up any tree, and better for shooting form, I think. Deer don't bust you as often. Those would be the top perks of saddle hunting for me, which I think are very, very, very worth it. Like, I would choose a saddle any day over tree stand.
What are people talking about when I hear them talk about saddle hunting and they say a deer come in on the weak side or strong side? Is that so your left, if you're right-handed, shooting to the left would be your strong side, or?
Yes. Yeah, and then your weak side would be
swinging across.
Yeah, weak side would be swinging across, and it's something that you practice because you're held up by what is called a bridge, and that is your safety rope that's holding you up, and it goes like in a V shape from your hips, about like 12 inches out, and that holds you to the tree. So if you picture a rope right here, I'm taking my bow and I'm going up over my bridge and then twisting like this to shoot. So that would be my weak side. However, I still shoot perfectly fine out of my weak side than I do my strong side. It's more movement, and you kind of have to guess where the deer are coming from or what trail they're going to take. If they're going to go to your weak side, you got to just do the movement. But again, I get away with murder in a saddle with no pun intended. I get away with moving around a lot in a saddle because you can hide behind the tree and not get caught with your movements.
Killer Kate.
Killer Kate.
Serial killer.
And before I forget again, there's another thing I wanted to ask earlier that might be helpful for people. Is you're a girl, you shoot a lighter poundage bow. Mm-hmm. What kind of poundage do you shoot?
So with my first bow, the Diamond, I shot 51 pounds. And then when I switched over to the Matthews bow, with the way the cams were set up, it was a lot, the draw cycle was different, and I could not draw back 50 pounds or anything. We dropped it all the way down to 43 pounds or 44, something like that, 43, 44 pounds, which made me feel super weak. But it was the draw cycle that changed everything, and then the Matthews.
Way more aggressive cam.
Yeah, and the Matthews, it shoots way faster than my Diamond, so even though we brought down the weight, it was
feet per second, and
still up. Oh yeah, it didn't matter. And I've shot 2 deer with my Diamond now and 2 with my Matthews. Both deer I shot with my Matthews were complete passers.
So you shot him at 43 pounds?
Yep. At 25 yards.
And I knew when he was talking about it, he was really waiting on him to get that shoulder out there, which shoulder shooting a deer is terrible with anything. But I'm sure shooting a lower poundage bow has that in your head. You know, I got
oh my gosh, shoulder. Yeah. Well, his front leg was all the way back, like to mid body, so that shoulder bone was really pushed back far. I had to tuck it in, like I just pictured in my head the V of his shoulder and tucked it right in as close as I could. And you know, honestly, like I was so confident shooting with my Matthews that I didn't need that bigger margin of error, and I knew like if I didn't tuck it in, I was not going to attempt to lung shoot that deer because, like we talked about earlier, I needed to watch him go down. I wanted a heart shot, you know, and he was kind of angled towards me a little bit too. Like he was broadside, but he was ever so slightly quartering to, barely. So I really needed to tuck it in.
Yeah, I've shoulder shot some deer.
When
I shot 3D.
Oh yeah.
I shoulder shot like 3 deer and lost them, and it tore me up. Now I'm like, I'll shoot him in the liver before I shoot him in the shoulder again. But
yeah, when we skinned the deer out, you actually could see like I did hit his shoulder bone and it chipped the corner of it. Like that's how close I got into it.
What kind of broadheads were you using?
Magnus Stinger Buzz Cut 4-blade, nice. 100 grain.
Fixed,
yes. Yeah.
Was that choice because of lower poundage and all that?
Absolutely, yeah. One of my friends who's female hunter said she had pass-throughs with all of her deer with those broadheads, and I was like, all right, I'll give that a go, and I am very happy with the choice I made for this year. Yeah, both deer I harvested this year with that broadhead, and my whole setup were complete pass-throughs. So, and with my low poundage bow, I think that's impressive. Like, because with shooting 51 pounds with the other 2 deer I harvested with my diamond, like, I was getting like that much penetration of the arrow. Enough to kill the deer, but it's not great.
Yeah, I've killed 2 with a crossbow now. Every deer before that was with a compound, and I think I had a pass through every time with a compound, other than those shoulder shot deer. But my last 2 with a crossbow has not been pass throughs, and they've both been really good shots. Like,
interesting.
I don't know that I would change a shot, and I can't figure out what is stopping that from happening.
Interesting. What broadhead are you using?
Rage.
Maybe that could. Is
But
that
I've I've shot 20 deer with Rage.
I had 2, but then I had one with it that didn't open, and that was terrible.
Yeah, I've shot a bunch of them with them. But with the compound, I've almost always had it pass through, and both times with the crossbow, I haven't. I mean, it's killed them. I've had enough penetration, but especially this year's, I was flat on the ground shooting. I think sometimes out of a stand, the angle can be tough when getting a pass through, depending on how high your entrance is. But this year's was a hard shot behind the shoulder, perfectly straight. I was surprised it didn't. I mean, it was clear through into his other side.
But it just didn't. It wasn't enough to pop it out. That hide is tough.
Sometimes
the hide is the only thing stopping it.
And I shoot like the smallest one, because there for a while I shot. When those Rages got real big for a while, they just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And I shoot once the smallest one's 1.5 inches or something.
I knew there was a reason that I didn't like you. I couldn't pinpoint it, and I finally realized it. And unfortunately, we're gonna have to end the podcast.
Yeah. We can,
is it because of the rage?
It's most definitely.
It's because of the rage.
We can compare.
He's a rage hater.
We can compare pictures anytime.
I've always used rage until I had one screw up with them, and it wasn't worth it. I don't know. It didn't open. There must have been something mechanically wrong with them, because all of them in the package were the same way.
I don't buy that a lot, though, that they don't open. I've seen people claim they don't open, and I think a lot of times they'll go back shut after that. I've had them in the dirt that look like they're closed, and I think they did open. I think they open and close if nothing stops them to hold them open.
Close with the little collar on it that's supposed to bust?
Oh no, it should have busted the collar.
Yeah, I know my collar was not busted.
Put the collar on wrong.
All of mine were like that. We played, me and Bud played with them and tried to fix them. We could not open them.
Now I have, the ones I had a ton of success with were the chisel tips, and what I've shot out of the crossbow have been hypodermics.
Hypodermics?
Hypodermic needles.
Is that not what they are?
Yeah, it is hypodermic. You're completely right.
But those are what I haven't had a pass through with, which surprised me compared to the chisel tips. But they've killed the deer I've shot with them. They haven't passed clean through the deer.
Not like your FMJs.
Don't have none.
Easton FMJs. Full Metal Jackets.
I don't have
Arrow. I'm just teasing.
I did used to shoot them, but long time ago. Shot them in the shoulder with them.
How'd that work out for you?
Full Metal Jackets, Montex, Muzzies, fixed blades. They didn't want none.
Them are at the bottom of my totem pole.
I'm telling you,
blades.
You hit them in the wrong part of the shoulder, it's tough. Unless they're 15 yards and you're just cranking it, but you get them out there, it's tough.
Right. So, Katelyn, do you have any out-of-state hunts that you're planning on doing next year? Are you going to stay solely in Ohio, or what's your 2023 season looking like?
Well, coming up is turkey season. I would like to get a turkey here and potentially get a turkey in Kentucky too. I would like to harvest, ideally I'd like to harvest a deer early season here so that I can go to the surrounding states. Kentucky being probably number one on my list just because it's closer. It'll be easier for me to go to. But I don't know. I don't have anything solidly planned as of yet other than Kentucky. Did this just go off?
My camera's still working.
Hey, my mic just died. Oh.
Can you hear now?
You cut me off when you did that. I heard nothing.
Well, that's good. That should just cut to where you can't hear me.
Nope. Everybody.
Are you good now?
Yeah, we're good. Okay.
So are you going to Kentucky first for turkey, or are you going to...
Didn't you say Kentucky opens first before Ohio? Yeah. Yeah, so turkey would be first then, considering it opens first.
I believe right now their turkey population is way better than ours anyway, so that would be a very smart choice.
I wouldn't know. I don't know anything about turkey hunting. This will be my second year turkey hunting, and hopefully I'm successful this year, because last year I think I made all the mistakes. So.
Well, as you say, there's plenty of YouTube videos out there, so I would recommend start watching.
Well, I watched them all, but
And be prepared to make more mistakes, because it's going to happen.
Yeah. I have no problem finding the turkeys. I just don't know what to do, because I don't know how to read them yet, so I don't know how to get them to come to me at all.
Can you give us your best Yelp?
No, because I don't have a call in my mouth at the moment.
Matt, how about you?
What, you want to do a little...
I started to.
Very good.
I felt very hoarse when I got ready to do it.
Can you do one?
I'm done turkey hunting.
Can you do a turkey call without a call in your mouth?
Like hunting, will I do it without a call?
Yeah.
No, I'll use a call.
Oh. Well, can you do it now without a call in your mouth?
I find my best success is to wait for them to gobble and try to cut them off because I can't call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll let Matt call and, I go sit in between him and the bird.
Yeah. Honestly, I didn't know how to turkey hunt at all last year, so I just tried to find them and make myself on the same ridge, and I heard where they were heading towards at the edge of the ridge, so then I would go around the bottom of the ridge and wait here, hoping
And
that they would
be on the other end.
or they'd go to another ridge. I don't know. I had no idea what I was doing. I watched a ton of videos, but I was crash course learning. I had nobody to teach me how, so it was nothing like deer hunting whatsoever. I've never felt so dumb.
I used to love it. I haven't been able to find very many birds lately. I lost to places that were public and have hunted, or private and have hunted public, and I found one bird last year. I had a spot on public. I was hunting to leave, come back, and then there'd be people in there, and I was like, I'm done.
Oh my gosh, the public land I was hunting, me and the same guys ended up being after the same bird.
Yeah.
And then I heard their gun go off, and I got freaked out because we were on the same ridge, and I had no idea that there were guys going after this bird.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh, that scared me so bad.
That's why it scares the shit out of me.
Yeah, they came over and talked to me. Had their bird.
Bet that felt nice.
I mean, I don't know. I thought it was kind of cool. It gave me a story, I guess. But
turkey hunting is very up or down for me. It's either the best.
You look like you're on the down end of turkey hunting right now.
Or it is I don't even want to go. It's just so boring.
Do you go out and roost them?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, used to a lot. I haven't been able to find no birds.
It's just funny how you said it.
Why? Is that not how you say it?
Yeah, it was just funny how you said it.
Out roosting turkeys.
Did you go roost them?
Yeah, I've killed multiple.
Was it the tone for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Last one I killed was behind my old house by myself, and just haven't found a bird since then. And don't have that to hunt no more. I just kind of burn out, I guess.
You seem a little sour that you don't have anywhere to hunt, really. That seems like the problem.
Like duck hunting. I used to be ate up with it, and I have no desire.
Well, I know you have places to go on that, so I know that's not the case. But I would probably take you turkey hunting if you took me duck hunting.
We'll see.
Yeah, I know. You're not for me.
Do you know how to call the turkeys in? Get them to come to you? Because I have no problem finding the turkeys. On public land, I had a hard time deciding which turkey to go after because there were so many gobbling on different ridges.
You probably talk them to death.
No, I honestly am horrible at calling turkeys, so I mostly was just trying to put myself in a position where they were going to pass through where I was because I knew I was horrible. So I just tried to put my deer hunting skills into turkey hunting just to hopefully get something.
I would say if you're not confident in calling, then call less.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I did. Yeah. I would call
just learn just
to find them, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually used an owl call to find them in the morning, and that worked like a charm. It was perfect. I would do an owl call on one ridge that was next to three ridges that were all met into this bottom, and I would do an owl call, and you would hear turkeys on all of the ridges, and I'd be like, wow, which one do I go after?
Did you use an actual owl hooter, or did you do it yourself?
No, I used an actual owl call.
Whoop, whoop.
What was that? You kind of gave up there. That's not bad, actually.
That was frustrating too, to get a bird roosted and then I get them gobbling up on the roost and they hit the ground and just lock up right now. That's when I'm like, I'm going home. I'm done with these things. But turkey hunting is either awesome or sucks, in my opinion. Like there's deer hunting. It's always. I mean, even if I get skunked up until that last minute, you're
It's
like,
still
at any
awesome.
time a deer
Yeah.
could walk out. Turkey, it's like, if there ain't nothing talking.
Then you might as well just go home.
And I don't even know if I want to kill one if it just walks by me. I don't know.
I would. I
mean,
would
that's-
not hesitate.
I would still shoot it in the face, but I don't know. When you get one at 15 yards, spitting and drumming, it's a hard to beat. Hard to beat.
Yeah.
Have you
So-
deer hunted out of state?
Me? Technically, when I was a kid, I deer hunted out of state in Ohio because I grew up in New Hampshire.
Right.
So,
But
when I
the
was
only state you've hunted in has been Ohio?
and New Hampshire, where I grew up. Yeah, I killed a couple deer in New Hampshire.
You did?
Yeah, which is much harder than in Ohio. yeah, New Hampshire. Hunting in New Hampshire sucks.
Is there big deer there?
No, yes, but no,
Not like here.
no, not like here. They have really, really, really harsh winters. Like it's
Sitka deer?
Wrong place.
yeah, and it's
Where's
not.
that, Maine?
No,
Guess again.
I thought it was in Maine.
starts with an M, right?
Maryland.
Yeah, Maryland.
I thought the guy
My
talked to on
badass
vacation
girlfriend went
said-
there by herself. Public land.
Not Sitka deer?
Yep.
In swamps?
She's going back this year.
Sweet. I talked to a guy on vacation about it.
It's fun. She said she loved it. She had a blast.
Did she see any?
Couple.
Yep.
Far distance. At least 90 yards.
Would be cool.
Very small. Very agile. I know you've been dreading this, but I'm gonna ask you to do it. Yeah.
Yeehaw.
No, it's not. Yeehaw.
Yeehaw.
Can you do?
Yeehaw.
It's
Yeehaw.
And I will demonstrate this if you would like.
Matt. Give her something to go off of.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Wait. Let me turn my volume down. Okay, we're good.
So we have to hear your donkey sound. It's your turn.
I don't even know. Is that like a skill that you've mastered over time?
Just give it a try.
Give it a
It's
try.
like watching YouTube.
Oh, you just watch it and then you just try it. Yeehaw. That's the best you're gonna get out of me.
Everybody loves that.
It could have been worse. I liked it.
Yeah.
We have heard worse.
We have definitely heard worse.
Don't even. Bud did great.
Yeah, it was my favorite.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking that we probably got us a good little podcast here.
Solid.
Is there anything you want to add before we call her a night?
Nope. Unless you want me to talk for another hour.
I think we'll save that for the next time. Windy McWind over here.
Yeah.
Good thing there was a storm outside, or
If you want, you can tell them what you do. You do nails. You tell them about your social media platforms if you want anybody to check any of that stuff out, TikTok and all that.
All my social media platforms are the same. Just my name, Katelyn Armstrong. Nice and simple. And yeah, I'm an artist. I paint on skulls for this one. For Skull Man.
she's pretty good.
Yeah.
Really good.
And she's kind of famous on TikTok.
She's getting there.
All that.
I don't have nearly the amount of followers that you do, sir.
Well, you have way more than I do. If you
If that's where we're starting our standards at. I mean,
You're getting there, Matt.
Yeah.
You're
yeah,
doing
come
good.
on, man. You can go live now. You're getting up there.
Don't forget to check us out.
You just need that one video to hit 1 million.
Hell, he's already got that on his rally car or whatever. He's
5.4 million.
what is it? Or is it Rally Simulator?
Simulator? That's a video game.
I know, it's a joke.
No.
Like Goat Simulator.
But now I have questions.
Yeah. Check us out.
Yeah.
Redonkulous Outdoors.
YouTube,
Yeah.
Spotify.
Oh, if you want to check out my YouTube channel, you can actually watch the full story of the buck that we talked about.
I'm sure a few
Whole
guys
thing.
will go check it out, and gals.
Yeah.
We appreciate you coming on. We're still pretty green. We're still getting at it.
Fresh.
Intro into this episode wasn't my favorite, but
You could do it again right now, do an intro, and then she can bring it to the beginning. That's what I do all
Could.
the time. I do it all the time.
okay. Yeah. Fine with me.
Go ahead, do the intro.
You want to take that?
No, they probably find it entertaining. It's fine. This is real life podcast, real life filming stuff. Sometimes you do it out of order.
Hey guys, welcome back to another week of County 71. We're here with guest Katelyn, and Matt's over on the other side, as always, looking scrumptious. Episode number 3. The first episode is on Spotify and YouTube right now. Go check it out. We're about to launch the second episode with Bud the Man Scott, and soon after, some point we'll be launching this one with Katelyn.
The talented Katelyn Armstrong.
Alrighty.
Thanks.
Peace, love, and chicken what?
Peace, love, and chicken grease.
Love you.
Love
Bye.
you, bye. You gotta say love you, bye.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.